The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages that we cover. This week we'll be starting with Tim Schiefen in the town of West Bloomfield. What's wild and woolly in West Bloomfield?
Oh, golly, it's like a bucking bronco out here in the Wild West, but we're taming it. I'll tell you, this town supervisor job is very complex. I'm finding it extremely interesting. I meet a ton of people. I talk to a ton of people. I'm fully adept at all that stuff. And there's so many things to pay attention to. I jokingly tell people how my life is like that guy at the circus with the plates on the sticks, and he's spinning the plates, and he gets one plate spinning and two plates spinning and three plates spinning and 10 plates spinning. And before you know it, we got plates crashing all over the place. So I'm trying to keep my plates spinning. And along with that, I'm trying to learn the role of supervisor, and I'm learning more and more things every week. And it's really enjoyable. So for that, I'm glad I'm here. What's going on right now at our town? We did enact a moratorium in regards to special use permits in our ag district. We're going to revisit that this town board meeting. I've done a bunch of research, adjacent towns, adjacent town codes, reached out to our town attorney, asked some questions, and I'd like to review the process. And I've worked closely with our planning board. The members of the planning board are some smart people, and they do a good job. I don't have any doubts with their abilities and their direction. We're going to work to their benefit, hopefully, and put some additions and some more clear wording in the process that they follow for these special use permits. And then we're going to review Section 140 more carefully to make sure they've got a little better guideline if it's necessary to help guide them through that process. As I said in our public hearing, for that purpose, I don't want this to take a year. I don't want it to take 6 months. We enacted a moratorium for 6 months. I'd like to wrap this thing up in a month or two and get back to business, because I don't want to tie the hands of the planning or zoning board here in town. I want them to do their job and do it to the best of their abilities. And they do. I can't say enough about the dedicated people we have here on those boards. They're smart, they're bright. I think we got some progressive minds there. And I truly feel they look out for the best interests of our community. Some other things are going on in town here. We're looking over some bids for some tree work. We got some mature trees that line the entryway off of Routes 5 and 20 for our Prouty Park. They're close to some homes. One of them is a very nice historic home that's beautiful. The adjacent house is just as beautiful, not quite so historic, but it's important to these residents that we take care of these trees. We got a maple tree that's going to be compromised, I guess is the word they use. It's going to come apart, and we're lucky that it's made it through the last two windy circumstances we've had here recently, like some of our adjacent towns have found with microbursts and stuff coming through. So we've reviewed those bids. We got to reach out to the county preferred contractor, and then we're going to assign that and move ahead. We're working on budget time here. We're learning about the aspects of the budget. At least I am. I'm not a municipal accountant, but I'm hitting the ground running. I'm learning quite a bit, and we're going to see where we are, see where we need to be. We certainly have some areas of our current budget that was left behind by my predecessor that really didn't have enough wiggle room in them. So we're finding that we're going to be a little short in a few columns. That's just in the budget. People have to understand that if we compare this to your personal checkbook, your balance, right? That's what I look at all the time, is the balance. How much money's left over? What is this uncommitted fund balance? And that uncommitted fund balance is where we got to find all the extra money for these things that we don't anticipate. And somehow we've got to try to do better next year and leave a little more room in some of these budget columns for these unexpected things. When you make your budget too tight, that eliminates that opportunity, and then we have to chisel away at that uncommitted fund balance. Fortunately, again, my predecessor did leave the town in a really good financial circumstance, so hats off to the previous town supervisor. Um, he was a pretty good fellow. You know, some people didn't like his style, but he did do a good job for the town, and I want to make that clear to people. And I'd like to do the same or better, and leave a budget for our next year, which is me, and the year after that, which will be me. But the year after that could be somebody new. So if you don't like me, round up a candidate, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't need this job, but I will do the best job I can for you while I am here doing the job. All right, let's wrap this up with one of my favorite things. And I'll try not to make this an advertisement. We've got some great farm markets here in this community, and I'm a huge sweet corn fan. And one of our farm markets told me that they were told that there was better sweet corn in an adjacent community. I will leave that nameless, but I think it's in Joe's neighborhood. So I ventured over there the other day, and I bought a couple ears of sweet corn from that nameless market. And how does it compare with the West Bloomfield product? Eh, I like ours better. And I eat a lot of sweet corn, folks. So you want really good sweet corn, you're going to find it in my town. The stuff in the neighboring town is pretty good, but it sure didn't beat the stuff in my town. Okay, there you go. There's my advertisement for the week. And a future shout out, mark your calendars, August 27th is going to be a cruise night at Mendon Village Commons. Yep, that's an advertisement for sure. But I'll definitely have one of my collector cars there. Hey, maybe I can coerce Mr. Carosa into bringing one of his handsome rides down. I'll buy you a free ice cream. So
okay.
with that, maybe you'll see me in Lee Hankinstown on Sunday. Car show over there. Maybe Lee will talk about it.
All right.
Adios, my friends.
Thanks, Tim. And it's over to Lee. Lee, what's happening in Rush?
Okay, not talking about the car show, I'm talking about budget. I just wanted to say what a good time I had at the Rush Firemen's Carnival and walking in the Rush Firemen's Parade. Our fire department and the Ladies Auxiliary truly know how to organize and pull together our community. I realize the most enjoyable part of my job is working for the residents of Rush and making our lives more enjoyable. A reminder to all residents with dogs on how important it is to have your dog licensed and properly vaccinated. As I was studying the town budget, it appears that the revenue for license was low. It adds additional costs when residents do not follow up and keep up with licensing. The real headline for this week is that the town of Rush will begin its review of the 2027 budget at a public budget workshop on August 12th at 8 p.m. The public is invited to attend and learn more about how the budget is put together. Department heads and chairs of town boards and committees will present funding requests for programs, equipment, service, and projects. The workshop is focused on the major pieces of the budget: expected revenues, rising costs, department needs beyond salaries and benefits, and other budget issues, such as the additional costs to meet the demands from the state for public safety, dog control, and public communications, addressed before the preliminary budget is completed. As a small town, Rush must balance state mandate responsibilities with local services residents rely on, including highway, public safety, library, recreation, planning, and building services. The 2027 budget is being developed amid projects increase in wages, benefits, retirement contributions, health insurance, utilities, insurance, and local costs. Priorities include staying under the state property tax cap, protecting employee salaries and benefits, keeping compensation competitive, and reviewing discretionary spending carefully. We will review the 2026 budget actuals to establish a baseline for 2027, while reviewing areas of unexpected increases such as legal fees, like liability insurance, and street lighting. The tentative budget provides an opportunity to take a closer look at how the town pays for both mandated and non-mandated services. That review includes prior year spending, state aid levels, mandated cost changes, employee benefits, fund balance levels, and the property tax cap calculations. Rush enters the process with no debt and with several plan documenting in place that can support future grant applications to pay for improving infrastructure, flood prevention, park, recreation, and community improvement. Grants reduce costs to taxpayers and avoid long-term debt. A central issue will be how to maintain essential services without relying on uncertain revenue sources, such as interest earnings. Using our unexpended balance wisely is key to protecting taxpayers. State budget guidance emphasizes a strategically balanced budget in which recurring expenses are supported by recurring revenues, the largest source being property taxes and sales tax revenue. As Chief Financial Officer, I am committed to making sure we stay under the 2% tax cap and to make sure we do not overburden seniors with limited incomes with the increased cost of town government. The workshop will help shape meetings, the next step in the budget calendar, developing of the tentative budget. Taxpayers will have opportunities to review and comment once the preliminary budget is completed, long before the final budget is added. The tentative budget is just the first step. The upcoming workshop is designed to make the budget process more transparent and practical, identify needs, compare costs and benefits, distinguish between mandated and optional services, and set priorities. Last, another reminder that I'm always available to meet any resident and encouraged to contact me with their ideas and concerns. And thanks a lot. That's it for me.
All right. Thanks, Lee. All right. Rick Milne is away. He's not on the call this week. He's at the Finger Lakes Community College attending the New York State Planning Federation training sessions. And while he has attended these sessions in the past and has been involved in local village government for many years, he always looks forward to these opportunities as ways to learn new things and strengthen current and past practices that he feels benefits the village community as well. He sends this that they are creating this session in the Sentinel. He wanted to remind people of a wonderful fundraising event for our Sister Cities program, Friends of Bourne, at Dipper Dan Ice Cream on Sunday, August 9th from 2 to 6 p.m. He asks everyone to come out and support our Sister Cities program and have some of the best ice cream around at Dipper Dan's. He also wants to thank John and Sue and the Dipper Dan team for their support of this event. We couldn't do it without them. This upcoming week is going to be very busy, and he has reported on this multiple times. Friday, August 14th from 6 to 10 p.m. at Firemen's Training Grounds. This is on Monroe Street. We will have a fun America 250 celebration. There will be a couple of food trucks at Pat's Pigs and Food. We will have music by the Movers, and there will be a large bonfire that is safety controlled by the Honeoye Falls Fire Department. And then we'll have a fantastic fireworks display that should start around 9:30 p.m. As a reminder, the event itself will take place at the Fireman's Field on Monroe Street, And we will also be closing the Monroe Street Park midday on Friday in preparation of the fireworks event, as that is where the display will be conducted. For your viewing pleasure, the Fireman's Field will be the place to park and sit and enjoy the music, bonfire, and great food. Come out and enjoy the event with friends and family. Then on a Saturday, August 15th, we will have our annual Festival of the Falls event on West Main Street between the Four Corners and Norton Street. West Main Street will be shut down for the day with no parking on West Main Street or the village parking lot at Town Hall or the Episcopal Street parking lot. This has become a wonderful one-day event, and we have many vendors and displays that will be there to support a fun day. Our thanks in advance to all those that are supporting this event and working hard to make sure the event continues. That was from Rick Milne, Mayor of Honeoye Falls. And now we're moving over to Joe Elati of Mendon. Joe, who disappeared, instead of unmuting, he unvisualized himself. He's back. Joe, what's going on in Mendon?
Hi, everyone. As everyone knows, urgent care has been foremost on a lot of people's mind. There was a meeting Monday night that went very, very positively. That's moving forward. There's a lot of little details to work out, and we're working hard on that. Let's see here. I'm sorry I missed last week's broadcast, but I just couldn't coordinate the time to make it happen. Last Monday, we had a town board workshop meeting where we addressed a new possible health insurance consortium for bringing a better plan, or possibly bringing a better plan for our employees here. And we'll be looking at that because this is the time of the year where we start shopping for health insurance. And our goal is to save the town money and increase the benefits at the same time. So it's a challenge in itself, but we're working hard to do that. At that meeting, we also worked on our employee handbook and other policy and procedures manual items. And so we're moving along with that. That's a really long-term project. And Tuesday met with various people on the Mile Square sidewalk project. That's kicking off, and that work will be starting soon. We'll have a sidewalk from the Lehigh Valley Trail up to Route 251. So that'll be one of the first legs of sidewalks in the Hamlet project. Let's see, met with the highway department last Wednesday. We spoke a lot about the development of our Semmel Road soccer fields. The Blaze Soccer League is ending very shortly. I think it's this week. And once they're completely done for the season, we will commence work on those fields. We are basically converting 2 soccer fields into 4. We've been adding fill. We're going to be bringing in topsoil. We're grading. We're going to be seeding and putting in drainage and really improving the soccer fields. So you can look forward to that. We're going to ask people to stay off those soccer fields the rest of this season, since there'll be work going on out there, and we'll be reseeding so that we're trying to develop grass through the fall and get a head start on next year. So if people could stay off those fields, we'd appreciate it. Let's see, Route 251 looks like milling and paving project is going to be happening on Route 251. So it starts at the bridge in the hamlet and goes down 251 all the way to Rush, is my understanding. So that begins August 17th. So I think a lot of people will be happy about that. And finally, I received a letter from Thompson Health proposing a partnership with our Mendon Public Library to enhance community health and early literacy, building on its successful collaboration with the Victor Farmington Library. So it was really nice to hear how the U of R teams up with the library out there and wants to do the same here with our Mendon Library. And we're really looking forward to that relationship. And that's about it. That's all I have for this week.
All right. Thanks, Joe. And now it's over to Steve Schultz in the town of Henrietta. What's happening in Henrietta, Steve?
Hello.
Hi. So our last concert in the park is Friday, August 14th, with the Coupe de Villes. They're a rhythm and blues classic rock band. The market opens at 4 p.m. and the concert starts at 6:30. The movie in the park is Friday, August 21st with Zootopia 2. Activities start at 7 p.m. Movie starts at dusk. On the construction side, the municipal dog shelter is getting close to being finished, although we're still waiting on a couple major items such as the generator. For those who haven't been building lately, construction costs have been soaring between tariffs and the rise in petroleum costs due to the Gulf War. It's just it's become problematic. Not only have costs gone up, deliveries have been pushed back multiple times. I was able to give Lee Hankins a tour the other day, as Rush is one of our partners in the project. There's at least 3 towns involved, possibly 4, maybe 5, that, neighboring towns that will all use this one shelter as our dog shelter, so that way we can split costs and save our taxpayers money. Our senior center expansion is getting started. The total cost came in over $2 million. Again, costs have just gotten ridiculous. We're actually about $750,000 short in terms of funding. We have some potential, I'll call it emergency funds we can go to if we have to, but I prefer not to. So my wife has volunteered, or been voluntold, whichever way you want to look at it, to join the Friends of Henrietta Parks and Recreation to do some major gift fundraising, including the potential of naming rights. So, we're going to try to get, as an example, like approaching Wegmans about putting their name on the kitchen. We're expanding the kitchen. So hopefully we can close the funds the shortfall that way. But either way, we're going to get started on that expansion because we really need it. Not to mention, some of the funds disappear at the end of October, so we've got to get moving. We're also starting work on a stage surround building for our new band shell. This spring, we built a brand new band shell. We'd had problems with the old canvas one. Not only was the canvas up there in years, but we had issues with vandalism. At night, some kids would sometimes slice the canvas. So now it's a big steel structure. Good luck slicing the steel. Although I don't want to give them a challenge. That wasn't a challenge. But what we're going to do is we're going to build a surround around the stage. It'll not only provide a backdrop for the stage, but it'll house restrooms, utility, and storage rooms. So no more porta potties for our concert series or Market in the Park. On the paving side, we've been putting off major paving as long as possible due to the high cost of asphalt due to the Gulf War, but we really can't put it off any longer. So we'll be starting our major paving projects next week. For those who've been in Henrietta and know, West Henrietta Road was just finished being paved by the state. They're not quite done striping, although they're getting close. And they've also been the intersection at Lehigh Station Road and West Henrietta Road, the east branch of that intersection has been closed and will remain closed for another week as they're replacing the concrete, a section of the concrete there. And yes, there are some other portions of state roads that really need some work, especially the off ramps from the expressway. No, the town has no ability to touch those. And then the other one that needs work is the intersection of East Henrietta Road and Calkins. This winter, there was a water main break in one of the major water mains. There's 3 giant water mains that run under East Henrietta Road to feed the city and county water supplies. One of those burst with so much force, it pushed the pavement up about 4 to 6 inches and even lifted a car up off of the ground. So what that did is it aerated the ground under the road. So the road has now been settling back down, and of course, it's not settling evenly. What really needs to happen is the water authority has to hire someone to come in, remove the pavement back to the crosswalks, dig all that out, put in new subgrade material and compact it as you go, and then pave it back over. Naturally, it happened here probably about a month after they were finished paving. I guess maybe 3 months after they were finished paving East Henrietta Road. So East Henrietta Road was all brand new, and then we had this water main rupture. So that was very unfortunate. We held a public hearing regarding a proposed local law to address large-scale data centers. We don't have any proposals. We're just trying to get out ahead of this issue. Yes, we know the governor has a moratorium, but those are on the, I'll call them mega data centers, the really large scale. There's a lot of room under that that can have a significant adverse impact. And so we're trying to address that. We're not against data centers. We're against the negative impacts that they can have on the community. So if they can address and mitigate those issues, then great, bring them on. They can really help the tax base because, and can, as I pointed out, one about the size that we could get can be valued at about $1 million, which would lower everybody's taxes 20%. Not their town taxes, but school, county, town, fire, ambulance, everything. So who'd be against that? The big issues are power and sound. It's really power in cooling. The cooling can create issues with regards to sound, water consumption. If they're doing the water consumption cooling, then it would be impact on sewers. So, for instance, if they go to a geothermal system, the sound, water, and sewer impacts pretty much go away. For that reason, we're doing this as incentive zoning. Now, of course, we had a whole lot of people show up because they heard incentive zoning and said, we don't want you incenting data centers to come to Henrietta. I said, that's not what we're doing. We're doing it through incentive zoning. So what we can do is require them, if they're going to put one in, and let's say it does have water usage, we could require them to upgrade the water system, not just to serve their area, but for instance, we still have a bunch of homes on wells. So could we have them run a new water main in those areas where the houses are so spread out, it's not cost effective from a water district standpoint. It's too expensive for the residents to get water to their houses. But if someone else were paying for it, right? Same thing with some major sewer improvements that could help when we have infiltration issues during major rains. So the idea is we can't require them to do those things under normal zoning. We can under incentive zoning. So that's why we're doing it that way. August 20th. Oh, actually, before I leave that topic, I'll note the governor heard about our hearing and asked to meet in Henrietta, hold a roundtable discussion. So that was like the day after I get the call. She was here within the week. It went well. We hosted her at our new town court building. It was better suited for the event than town hall, including having better security. It was also a chance to show off the relatively new building. So the event went really well. Got good press coverage. We were pretty much wall-to-wall news. So, it went well. August 20th will mark the start of the 100th year of operation for Locust Hill Country Club. They were built in 2017. So again, it's not the completion of the 100th year. It's the start of the 100th year of operation. They're going to pretty much celebrate all year long. So August 20th is their kickoff event. And we will be naming that day Locust Hill Day in the town of Henrietta. So for those who don't know, Locust Hill is one of our largest big open green spaces in town. And they, do a fantastic job in keeping it look immaculate. It does also go into the town of Pittsford, but I'll point out the clubhouse, the recreation facilities, and I call it the front 11 are all in Henrietta. Only the back 7 are in Pittsford. So it's really a Henrietta gem. We just share it with them because we're nice neighbors. Unfortunately, the U.S. Post Office has it a Pittsford zip code. So when the LPGA events, they always used to say live from Pittsford. No, they were really live from Henrietta. So anyway, like I said, that's celebration will be going on all year and kicks off on August 20th. If you are looking for great health benefits and membership in the state retirement system, the town of Henrietta is hiring. The majority of the jobs are in the DPW, but there are other jobs available as well. Visit Henrietta NY, that's all one word, henriettany.gov/jobs for a listing of our jobs and to be able to apply. And then lastly, our newsletter is coming out later this month. That's it. Back to you, Chris.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Lee or Tim, do you have anything more to add? Yes, Tim, you need to unmute. Yeah. And turn yourself. I don't know with you guys on the mute.
I got it.
Okay.
Hey, to my fellow supervisors, isn't it a little bit about time that we talk to the United States Postal Service to figure out why we can't get a zip code that encompasses our municipality where the boundaries are? Wouldn't that be kind of interesting that maybe Mendon could have a zip code for Mendon instead of Honeoye Falls, and West Bloomfield could have a zip code for West Bloomfield instead of Bloomfield? And by the way, I once lived on Clearview Drive in Henrietta, and I had a Pittsford zip code. What the heck is going on?
Yeah.
We need to get pace with the world, don't we?
It's not just that, but what frustrates me is their carrier routes cross town boundaries. So if you want to do every door
direct
delivery,
mail.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people in neighboring towns that get my newsletter.
Yeah.
Because it's still cheaper to include them to get all of the folks, instead of having to go out first class, or third class. But yeah, I don't understand why our post office doesn't pay attention to municipal boundaries. It makes no sense.
Well, I'm with you. And we have the same problem with the every door direct mailing when we send out our newsletters, or when my Boy Scout troop would send out our request for scouting for food pickups. I'm driving to Honeoye, I'm driving to Victor, because some postal delivery route extends over into the other community. So I know it's not a priority for us, but I want to make this a topic for us to work on, and maybe we can lobby the U.S. Postal Service to get their act together.
I'll bring that up with the next time our congressmen are in town.
Amen.
That's
all I got.
My son.
I'd like to let Tim know that I'll see him at the auto show.
All right, my friend.
Great. All right. Well, that's it. That's it for this week. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. Remember, this program airs every Sunday at 1 p.m. on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Like the page, subscribe to the channel. Those platforms will notify you when the broadcast begins. Otherwise, you can read the transcript in next week's paper. That's all for now. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya. Go Bills.
Bye.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.